Welcome back to another episode of Off the Market Podcast. You're here with Damin. As you can see, I'm by myself today. Feels kind of strange. My partner not with me. She's always the voice leading this podcast. So it's a kind of different situation for me, being the face and the voice today. But you know what? I think this is a good time that you have me, because I think a lot of people know who Amirah is. Amirah's been in the game for a long time. Amirah is the face of Halloum Real Estate Group. She is my sister-in-law. She's my mentor. She's my business partner. She's an amazing person. But I want to take a deep dive in who's Damin and kind of go from there and give you a little bit of background of Damin. I think this is a perfect time to talk about, because a lot of people don't know who I am. They know me through associations through Amirah, and basically I'm the Robin to the Batman of Amirah here. So let me just say who I am. I'm 37 years old, born and raised in New Orleans, Louisiana. I'm a Palestinian American. Got my master's in sports management. My passion is to become a sports agent, NFL sports agent, particularly. Grew up in the retail business my whole life. At the age of 7, my parents threw me in the stores. So I remember selling suits and dress shoes to second line parade groups out in New Orleans. If you don't know what that is, look it up. Second line's a big thing. For celebration, death, you always have second line parades. So I come from a retail clothing industry background. Like I said, my passion is sports. It still is. But I love what I do. I do real estate. I've been doing it now. Actually, this is going to be my 8th year coming up in July. And how I got into real estate is, Amirah was doing so well. And at that time, I was doing private transportation. And she's like, hey, Damin, I need help. And I think you'd be great at, doing real estate. And I was like, you know what? Let me try it out. And I did it part-time for 2 years, and then COVID happened, and now I do it full-time. I love it. I love the connections that you make into real estate. Everyone asks me, are you a buyer or a listing agent, or what are you, Damin? What are you? I don't specialize in one category, but I would say I'm more of a buyer agent, because I love the personal connection of getting someone their dream home, and that's my fulfilling. That's what I feel great. Is giving them the keys to their house, to their dream home. It's very hard to buy a home. Like right now, we're seeing a lot of people can't afford a home, or some of them are losing their homes. So we're dealing with that situation. But yeah, so I could come from a retail, got into real estate. Like I said, I love it now. And this is the question I get: who is Damin, right? And that's a tricky question, because I don't know who Damin is. But I think I'm a father. I'm a husband. I have 5 amazing kids. I love helping and serving my clients. But to say who I am, that changes every moment, every second. So I'm still trying to figure out who Damin is. But as me as a person, I'm a loving, caring. I'm very transparent, and that's one thing I love about our group. Is like we're very honest, and we're gonna tell you how it is, and we're very transparent. We're not gonna hide anything from you. So we put you first, and that's who we are, and that's just who I am. And I guess we could figure that together, who I am, right? We'll figure that out later on. But yeah, so that's just a little bit of background. I don't want to go deeper and deeper into who I am, but I want to get into the topic that we're going to talk about today, because we might be the future. And what we're talking about is 3D printing homes. That's going to start coming up. We're starting to see a lot of AI things. So now I think 3D printing homes will be another great, addition to real estate. And I actually had a client reach out to me a couple of weeks ago, which is crazy. We're talking about this topic. He wants to buy a 9-acre lot in Menifee. And he wants to build a 3D printing home that's only going to cost him $400,000 to build a 3,200 square feet home, which is insane to me. Like, that's probably half the price. A 3,200 square feet home, I don't know how much it is with labor, depending on what type of finishes you're doing, but I'm sure you're looking up to $700,000-800,000 at least. So that's almost half the cost on a 3D printing home, which is insane to me.
That would be the interesting part, is to really look at those numbers of like, how much does it cost right now to build a 20 home development,
right,
without 3D printing, versus what would it cost with all 3D printing. That would be so interesting to see that.
Yeah, because I think the only cost would be the same as like, okay, hey, we got to subdivide the lots, right? Because you're breaking down those acreage. But other than that, then I guess materials will be a lot
Materials,
cheaper.
yeah,
Labor will be a
yeah.
lot cheaper. Yes, you still probably need a roofing guy. You still need an electrical guy. You still need a plumber. But however, the structure itself and the foundation is going to be a lot cheaper to build, and that's
Yeah.
where most of the labor is coming at. And we're looking at time frames here where they're saying it takes 9 to 12 months to build a traditional home, right? Or to build a 3D printing home, they say you could take up to 4 to 6 months. So it's half the time too, as well, getting these 3D printing homes.
Yeah, I think those are the biggest factors right there. Is timing and cost obviously are probably the biggest one, and then I think kind of a sub category of the cost would be labor, like
Right.
workforce, and how many people are involved, how many people are required to operate this one 3D printer. So I'm so curious to jump into that. Now, before we jump into that, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Just to kind of dig a little bit deeper into you, and then we should we'll introduce Amirah
because we're gonna bring Amirah on. She's gonna be on the field, so you'll see that she had a busy schedule, so we couldn't do it together. So she'd be shooting on the field this week.
Yeah. So my question: do you remember your first real estate transaction?
Oh my God. Yes, I do remember it. It was a crazy story. So what happened was my first real estate transaction happened when Amirah wasn't here.
Really?
Okay, she wasn't here. I started the business in July. My first real estate transaction happened in November, end of November. She was out of the country at South Africa on a trip, and I was handling 3 of her escrows at that time. So I didn't even know what I was doing. I just passed the exam. I'd never did a transaction before. Never even seen the paperwork. Honestly, I don't even know the paperwork behind it yet. So Amirah was in
South
Africa. Now, this is a crazy part. My first sale was a HUD property, too. So it was a little bit...
Explain what HUD is.
It says Housing of Urban Development. So how the HUD property works is you need to go on their website and submit an offer instead of, you submit an offer and then you do all the paperwork. That's what it was. It was my great clients, I'm still in touch with them, my first clients. They love it. They bought it at a steal, and I think they doubled in equity.
They're still in it?
They're still in it. So
nice.
that's great. Yeah, so it was a HUD property in Sun City, in Del Webb, in Palm Desert. But it was kind of strange because, I didn't know the paperwork, and it was funny because I got them into escrow, and then I got another one.
While she's gone.
She's gone. So I had 2 in escrow at the same time, and then I was dealing with her 3. So I was dealing with 5 escrows at that time, which was insane. But thank God, we had a great office manager and broker. That Mark Bennett was, our mentor, my mentor, I guess, too, as well. He kind of,
smoothed it all out.
I didn't know what an Avid was. It was funny.
Were you trying to connect with Amirah while she's, I don't know what the time difference is in South Africa from here.
No, I really didn't want to bug her. I was like, hey, enjoy your time.
Yeah,
you know how she is.
Yep, exactly.
She works too hard. Like, I was like, hey, enjoy your time. I got it. And I didn't even bother. I probably only talked to her twice the whole trip.
You had enough support to
I had enough support
here,
but she didn't know what was going on. She thought I did it all by myself. So she's like, oh my God, he's amazing. Like, what? Did he just do all this by himself?
That's awesome.
The crazy part is I put my second one into escrow, right? And at that time, the appraisal was coming up. And they were asking, hey, Damin, who pays for the appraisal? Do I pay for it or does the seller? I said, no, the seller pays for it. You don't have to pay for the appraisal. I went to go ask. They're like, no, Damin, the buyer pays for it. It's their fee. And I'm like, oh, my God. So I just didn't know what was going on, right? So I didn't know the back end. But it was a great tutorial of what, I was learning on the fly, which was great. But that's why when people ask me, if they get into the business, what should I do, right? And I always say you should go work on a team and be their transaction coordinator to do the paperwork because you understand the paperwork, and then when it's time for you to do the first transaction, you have the knowledge behind it. You know what's coming up next and next and next and next.
I love that advice. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that was a good learning point for me, but I learned kind of on the fly and
literally feet to the fire.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It was crazy. It was crazy. But we worked it out and it went great. All 5 deals closed. So that's all at the end of the day. That's all that matters, right? Yeah, so what we're going to do here is we're going to throw it to Amirah. She's going to introduce herself. And like I said, she's on the field. So here she goes.
Hey, y'all. I would say welcome back to Off the Market. However, as you can see, I'm not on the market today on the pod. So shout out to Damin for holding it down. Business has been a little bit crazy. And so I'm at our latest listing in Palm Desert, super cute. I was doing a broker's open. But this is also the perfect opportunity to reintroduce myself and the podcast and why we're doing it. So I'm Amirah Haloum. I grew up here in Palm Springs, and we run a small real estate team. It's a family business. Been doing it now for about 12 years. The pod is for all things real estate, hyper local related. And soon enough, we will get local business owners that we'd love to highlight on the pod as well. And just want to welcome you and thank you for tuning in. And if there's any subjects or topics that you'd like us to cover, definitely leave us a comment or send me a DM. You could find me active on Instagram, possibly in my car, possibly in my office, or possibly at one of our listings. But thanks again for tuning in, and I hope you like our podcast. See you later, y'all. Bye.
All right, so we're back now, and what I want to do is I want to play a reel that we saw on Instagram on a 3D printing and how it's built. It's pretty amazing, and how hard it is to knock down these walls, which I thought was pretty insane, you know? So like, we could see the guys trying to, you know, break the wall, and the inside failing to do that. So this, well, let the video play out. Then I have a few questions here, because I think this is just incredible to have, you know, these machines just to build your own house. It's insane.
It is only a 35-second video, but there's certain aspects of it that like just show up for a second.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, what? Other than the Shrek butt that keeps popping up
right.
on there.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, you know, I would like to get, you know, our viewers' intake on it too as well, because this is my question about the 3D printing. I love it. It looks like, hey, like we mentioned, labor materials probably a lot cheaper. But yes, you're still going to need your roofer. You're still going to need your electrical. You're still going to need your plumbing there, and install the windows. So that's going to be still the manual labor part of it. But this is my question. Like, if we build a 3D printing house, we sell it 5-10 years down, it looks like it'll be hard for you to remodel it.
Yeah, that was one of the first questions you asked when you
I'm
saw
like,
it.
how would you remodel it? Because the guy had a hard time breaking it with the hammer, you noticed there. So it's like, okay, so what are these concretes not breakable? Or are these drywall not breakable? Or
yeah, right.
So that's the question I would have, and I'm sure it is, but I just don't know
what equipment is needed.
Exactly.
Is there a special tool that is required to get into these? And I don't know what the material is. That would be something that would be worth looking into. Like, is it cement?
Yeah, they say it's concrete. It's a certain type of concrete. I noticed on one of the articles.
It's like a mix, right?
Yeah, it's a mix, and then they use some recycled elements too, which is kind of unique too. So they're using recycled, which is, you know, hey, you know, that's good. It save the thing is to recycle it and to build it.
That's really cool. I think what's so interesting about it for here in the desert, and we'll get into the article that actually is related to a community here, but like the wind, the dust, you know, the elements that we really deal with out in the desert. How would these 3D printed homes stand up to those elements? I'm so curious. I mean, my first thought is they would be watching this video, they would be great for it. You know,
but
that would be my first thought.
We never know, right? I think like, so we have a problem in the desert is our cars, right? So it's like, hey, they don't test it in this heat, you know, and you notice our cars break down quicker here. The batteries die quicker. So, I mean, that is kind of a good question. And where is it made for this type of heat or made this type of conditions on the 3D printing? Because you know, not a lot of people have this type of weather all year round. Like
exactly.
So I think that is a good question. And maybe, you know, it's probably something, it's probably not great right now, but it'll get better over time. You know, it's probably something they're going to work into. And maybe it's already great. We don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it seems ideal for the desert only because, you know, you think about like the classic like pueblos and like how they was built then. Like if we just adopt that type of material and infrastructure to the 3D printing technology, like I feel like it just makes sense.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it's crazy. I want to see it. I want to go on site and see a 3D printing, because I think that would be kind of freaking cool to see that. I mean, just see like the machines and then see how it comes from a computer, right, and coming to live transformation.
Which you might get a chance to.
Yeah.
This Forbes article that we're looking at is talking about a community here.
And in our backyard in Desert Hot Springs, you know, and I hope they build it out. I know this article is in, you know, July of 2023. You know, they were going to build 20 modern 3D printing homes in DHS, which is going to be a 4-bedroom, and they're going to have an ADU, which is awesome too as well. So that's, you know, crazy.
It's a Forbes article from 2023, as Damin just mentioned. It's titled "Trailblazer 3D Printed Homes take shape in California's Coachella Valley. Now, again, it's 2023. So the biggest question that we have from the get-go is, what's the status of this community
Right, exactly.
now?
And I got a listing in DHS. So I want to go drive out there and go look and see if they built anything. I think
Yeah.
I'm gonna go out there later this week, so I'm gonna go look it up, and maybe we can get it up to date on the next one. Like, hey,
I did write down the contact information for
Okay.
the company
Right.
that builds it. So we definitely will have to do a follow-up episode of either reaching out to the team that's actually building this community,
Right.
or I would love to just talk to somebody who's actually within the 3D printing
Right.
manufacturing space.
Right.
Like,
I
let's
mean,
get these questions answered, you know?
And yeah, exactly. And I think that would be, I mean, that'd be awesome if we could find someone doing that, because we do have a lot of land here. You know,
Exactly.
And we see thermals growing, right? And if thermal grows, it's a lot of land there. Do we see 3D printing homes, or are we going to see? Man, are there 3D multi-units? Are there 3D apartment? I mean, that's crazy. You know, in China they're doing the steel little buildings already, apartments. So, and they build it, you know,
Super quick, yeah.
super quick. You know, so that'll be kind of unique to see, you know, where that goes. But it'd be awesome to have a 3D printing. I mean, everything I see is it's insane. Now, am I for it? I don't know. I mean, I don't know much about it to say yes or no. How is the foundation? How's the structure? That's my that's my two biggest questions in the beginning. But what I see from the outside, man, it looks like a normal. You wouldn't even know it's a 3D printing home. How would you even know the difference between a 3D printing home and a modern home? I mean, a modern home, standard home. I just, like, looking at these pictures, I don't see, like, you know, you could tell between a manufactured home and a single family. But how would you know this is a 3D printing home?
There are, like, the video that we watched, there is a clear texture on the homes in there. But I have seen, and this the website for this article looks like you can kind of see the texture when you're up close on it of, like, the 3D lines, essentially. Yeah. But I have seen other ones where they've actually gone in and they've smoothed it out.
Right.
So they've actually sanded it, or, again, I don't know what material they're using to sand out cement like that to make it smooth. But I have seen a version of the 3D printed, at least on the inside of the home, where it's all smoothed out and they don't have that 3D printed texture.
So this is another question I have. What if you have this home, you design it, right? Like, I bought a new construction, right? And we wanted things in certain areas, and, you know, right when in the middle of it, we want to switch it, right? So let's say you want to switch this. Can you switch that, or no, that button's going? Is it loading? That is the question, you know, like, okay, like, hey, is there any, like, hey, pause, let's move this around, or this just continues to go? That's it. Once you start, there's no end. Like, it's going to the finish line.
Well, yeah, because you're watching the video where it's talking about the durability of it.
Yeah.
And there's a moment, I can't remember where it is. Maybe I'll see if the timing pops up. They show the island.
Yeah.
The kitchen island. And that is clearly 3D printed. So, yeah, that begs the question, like, okay, a wall seems a little bit, you know, iffy, and how would you do that? But, like, the island structure, yeah, it's actually at literally the last second. The 35th second of the 35-second video, it shows the island. You can clearly tell it's 3D printed. So, yeah, are you locked in? Are you ever making a change in the layout of the home or the walls after it's 3D printed?
Right.
Very good question.
And then they're saying here, I'm reading on this Forbes article that the strength as concrete, it's 4 times stronger than the strength of concrete and 30% lighter, the material they use, which that's insane. So it's lighter, but it's stronger. That's crazy to me, and how they can do that. Because usually if the weight's higher, right, it's heavier. I don't even understand how is it stronger and lighter. That doesn't.
I can't think of another technology that has, like, kind of progressed in that way. It's like it's almost like an underrated progression that we're not talking about, like steel. It took a really, really, really long time to get steel into, like, a, you know, very lightweight, you know, we have, like, carbon fiber and things like that now that is, like, literally just, like, replace steel.
Right.
So it's interesting that that's still cement, but they figured out a way to, you know, mix it up and print it out where it's stronger but lighter. That's so interesting.
Yeah. No, I mean, that is crazy. I mean, and hopefully this thing takes off. I mean, that'd be nice to have a neighborhood just 3D printing. I think that'd be kind of cool to see.
Yeah,
with
I
that
mean,
going on.
we're gonna have to go visit one or see one that's being built.
Is there one that's been built in the valley? I'm sure there's one that's, or no, that haven't happened. I mean, I'm sure there's someone
Somebody's
from
got to know.
Yeah, someone has to know. Has there been
Yeah.
one from LA? Someone from LA came over here and they 3D printing a home.
I mean, we're seeing videos. So where are these 3D printed homes? Where can we go see one closest to us?
yeah.
Just in general, tell us in the comments where we can find these 3D printed homes, and we will go check them out and see what they're like. I mean, we got to have connect somewhere that can show us one of these places.
I wish I had more knowledge about 3D printing. I mean, I know we're going back in circles here, but it looks great. I can't say nothing negative about it, but
Yeah. It's cool. So yeah, if you guys are interested, we'll have the article and the video linked in the description, so you can check it out. And if you have other articles and other things that you want to share with us related to the 3D printing world and real estate manufacturing, let us know. We're curious. We got lots of questions about it.
we got a lot of questions about it, and it feels good that Jamie hopped on a lot on this one, because I felt a little bit lonely, like Mr. Akon, not having Amirah here.
You would've been fine.
It feels kind of weird not having her here. But hey, thank you for tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe, and hopefully we'll see you soon on the next episode. Take care.